Hello everyone, this is Dr. N.Senthil Madasamy, Associate Professor Computer Science Engineering. Great pleasure for me to welcome you all for this session.
In this session, topic to be covered is case studies under mobile forensics. At the end of Unit 5, the students will be able to comprehend steps involved in investigating mobile forensics with case studies. At the end of this session, the students will be able to understand the case studies under mobile forensics. Case studies that effectively illustrate the use of computer forensics at a trial or in investigations are extremely hard to find. Exhibits from a trial often are simply unavailable to the public. This happens in child abuse trials or trials that are subject to appeal. In other situations, the trial exhibits might be available from a court system but have a charge associated with access to them. This provides very different examples of cases involving digital forensics, from attempted murder to serial killing to bullying or drug abuse in sports. First case study is Zacharias Musari. Only one terrorist stood trial for atrocities of September 11th, 2001. That person was Zacharias Musayu. As a case study, his trial provides a valuable insight into the various type of digital evidence examined by law enforcement investigators. Additionally, the case demonstrates how this type of evidence is admitted to court and so the arguments by defense counsel against its use. Finally, this case illustrates how both defense attorneys and prosecution attorneys use expert witness testimony. Background: the Zacharias Mosai was born on May 30, 1968 in France and was of Moroccan descent. But Mosai received his master's degree from South Bank University in London. During his time in Britain, he frequented the Brixton Mosque, which the Sioux bomber Richard Reid also attended. Musai also attended the more radical Finsbury Park Mosque in London. He connected with Islamist extremists in England and subsequently trained with Al Qaeda in 1998 at Golden, Terunda, Coast, Sitik, and Jihad Wall training camps in Afghanistan. He also lived in Cambuk between 1998 and 1999 and served an apartment with Mohammed Atta, one of the 9/11 co-conspirators who crashed American Airlines Flight 11 into the North Tower of World Trade Center. In August 2001, Musai attended the flight school in Minneapolis and trained on 747 flight simulators. The Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) had Musai under the surveillance and wanted to search his Toshiba laptop in early 2001. Unfortunately, the FBI agent request from Bureau office in Minnesota were apparently rejected by FBI headquarters. The table shows a timeline of Mosai actions leading up to events of 9/11/2001, as noted in the Virginia grand jury indictment. September 29, 2000, Mosai sends an email to Airman Flight School in Norman, Oklahoma. February 23, 2001, Mosai files from London to Chicago and then on to Oklahoma City. May 23, 2001, Mosai sent an email to Pan Am International Flight Academy in Miami. June 20, 2001, Mosai purchases flight tech videos for Boeing 747 from Sporty Pilot Shop. July 10th or 11th, 2001, Mosai makes a credit card payment to Pan Am International Flight Academy for flight simulation training. August 13 to 15, 2001, Mosai attends Boeing 747 Model 400 simulator training at Pan Am International Flight Academy in Minneapolis. August 17, 2001, Mosai is interviewed by federal agents in Minneapolis. September 11, 2001, four hijacked commercial jet crash into World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. December 11th, 2001, Mosai is charged. April 22nd, 2005, Mosai pleads guilty of all 6 charges. Mosai was indicted by a federal grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia to stand trial on 6 felony charges: conspiracy to commit acts of terrorism transcending national boundaries, conspiracy to commit aircraft piracy, conspiracy to destroy aircraft, conspiracy to use weapons of mass destruction, conspiracy to murder United States employees, conspiracy to destroy property of United States. Digital evidence. The government investigator examined numerous computers in the wake of 9 or 11. The computer that Mukarram Ali owned in the apartment where Mosai lived in Norman, Oklahoma, was seized. The apartment was owned by the University of Oklahoma, and a computer from the University of Oklahoma Computer Lab was also seized. The FBI also visited a Kinko in Eagan, Minnesota to examine a computer that the suspect used to access the internet. FBI agents became aware of his use of the computer Kinko after examining the Kinko's firewall logs. They discovered that Mosai had used the computer to access Hotmail. One of the email address the suspect used was xdesertman at hotmail.com. The suspect listed it as one of his accounts in one of his prose bleeding in July 2002. Prose refers to someone who advocates for him or herself and does not use legal representation. Mosai requests to represent himself at trial. The computer at Kinko's was not seized because the agents were informed that the data on the computer would have been scrapped every 24 hours as part of standard operating procedure, and 44 days had now passed. The prosecutor had failed to link the computer internet protocol at Kinko's with Mosai Hotmail account because so much time had elapsed. After 30 days, the company deletes IP connection data and email content. Email account registration information is maintained for an additional 60 days, but this information then is deleted and the account username once again becomes available to the public. Once investigators discovered the suspect claimed that he had used xdesertman at hotmail.com. They contacted Hotmail. Alas, Hotmail had no saved information for this account. The FBI found Mosai receipt from Kinko's related to his paid use of internet on a computer in the Eagan, Minnesota store on August 12, 2001. The investigation concluded that the suspect had been connected to MSN Hotmail for 8 minutes. It also discovered that the other 19 9/11 hijacker had accessed the internet on Kinko's computer at other locations across the country. Government agents were aware of Mosai before 9/11. INS agents in Minnesota had arrested him on August 16, 2001 and actually seized his laptop and a floppy disk. Mosai had been staying in residence in Eagan, Minnesota. While attending the Pan Am International Flight Academy, the FBI subsequently obtained and executed a warrant on September 11, 2001 to seize these items again. On the floppy disk, they found Mosai emails to flight schools. He had contacted these flight schools from pilotz123 at hotmail.com. The FBI appears to have been a lot luckier when examining Mosai's pilotz123 at hotmail.com records. The investigators were able to match Hotmail IP address connection log to determine that he had accessed his email account from an address in Malaysia from computer lab at University of Oklahoma, from Mukarram Ali apartments in Norman, Oklahoma, and from Kinko's. Al-Qaeda operatives had met in Kuala Lumpur in January 2000. The discovery of IP address for Kinko's prompted investigators to search the computer at this location. Standby counsel objections. The standby counsel argued that the government had failed to provide a defense with evidence recovered from X-Dissetman at hotmail.com account or from computers at Oklahoma University, at Kinko's, or at Mukarram Ali apartment. Standby counsel is a lawyer who assists a client who has invoked his rights to self-representation. Donald Eugene Allison provided computer forensics expert witness testimony for the defense in the affidavit dated September 4, 2002. In the same court document, standby counsel questioned methods by which prosecution authenticated digital evidence. They noted the following. The authentication information such as MOS message, digest, and other accepted computer forensics methods is a critical, as without it, it is impossible to verify that duplicate hard drives or an exact copy of those that exist on the original system. Likewise, without such information, it is impossible to determine if the material retrieved from hard drives is accurate. In the same document, the standby counsel argued that more than 200 hard drives were produced during the discovery. Yet the defense lacked the resources to thoroughly examine the drives to the same extent as the prosecution. Standby counsel then asserted that the hard drive from the University of Oklahoma must have been contaminated. The defense continued the evidence from the Hotmail account should have been available from temporary internet files. This again leads to the lack of evidence relating to the X-Dissetman at hotmail.com account. Additionally, they argued that there was mismatch of IP address used in evidence by the prosecution. The defense continued that even though Kinko's appeared to have erased data every 24 hours, investigators could theoretically have examined the computer for files that still existed, but they failed to attempt to retrieve any files. The defense also argued that prosecution had not examined the file slack on Mukarram Ali computers. Prosecution affidavit. Dada K. Swell was a supervisory special agent for the FBI and was a computer forensics investigator who worked on this case. Swell submitted an affidavit rebutting the assertion made by defense counsel, particularly Donald Eugene Allison. The Swell noted that the FBI uses three methods of duplicating or imaging a hard drive: Linux DD, Safe Pack, LogiCube, handheld disk duplicator, all of these tools had undergone validation testing. Several respond to Allison assertion that NIST approves only one method of making duplicates by stating the NIST does not approve any computer forensics tools. Instead, it merely reports the result of its testing. Moreover, Mr. Allison wrongly identifies the Linux DD as the only one method approved by NIST. Interestingly, the Allison questioned the lack of message digest some version 5 MD5 or secure cache algorithm version 1 has verification being produced by the prosecution. Several responded by nothing that the number of verification cases can be used, including cyclical redundancy checksum (CRC). Several continued that SafeBack and LogiCube disk duplicators were used. They use an internal CRC and were tested by the FBI's court. Therefore, there would not ordinarily be any MD5 or SKCA1 cache values to disclose to defense for any computer drives imaged with SafeBack or the LogiCube disk duplicator. However, even with the confidence in SafeBack's CRC verification process, several went back and generated an MD5 sum for the original evidence and the duplicates, and they were a match. Exhibits Hundreds of exhibits were submitted at a trial. In terms of digital evidence, the prosecution presented numerous emails, wire transfers, receipts, and other exhibits. Email evidence: the following email demonstrate Mosai's interest in learning how to fly. The from Juluman Tango Dango to flights at flightsafety.com. Sent Monday, May 21, 2001, 2:42 a.m. Subject: simulator training. Hi, I would like some information on if I can get a full simulator training on Boeing or Airbus, even if not a commercial pilot. I am doing my PPL, but my dream is to fly one of these big bird, of course in a simulator. Will you consider me even if I have not passed all examination? I know it is a bit peculiar, but I am 33 years, so a bit late to start a pilot career and school where I do my PPL. Now told me he will take me 2 years before being a full qualified ATP pilot. But for the moment, I just want experience to fly with training on a flight simulator. From xxx at banamaacademy.com to Suleiman Tango Dango. Pilot is at 123 at hotmail.com. Sent Wednesday, July 11th, 2001, 5:57 p.m. Subject: home address for 747 manuals. Ultimately, it was the Pan Am International Flight Academy that provided Mosai SAC. I need the shipping address of your manuals. The operations want to send on Thursday, July 12. Please email or call with the address on Thursday. Thank you. The Pan Am International Flight Academy still provides flight simulator training today, according to its website www.panamaacademy.com. A copy of receipt from a store called Sporty, located in Padavia, was also admitted into evidence. The receipt indicates that two VHS video tutorial tab on the Boeing 747-200 and Boeing 747-400 were shipped to Mosai in Norman, Oklahoma in June 2001. The receipts detailing payments to an Pan Am International Flight Academy were also produced at trial. In August 2001, Mosai traveled to Eagan, Minnesota to attend the Pan Am International Flight Academy. A hotel receipt for the Mosai stay at the residence in from August 11 to August 17, 2001 in Eagan, Minnesota was admitted into evidence. From a computer forensics perspective, this case is important because much of the prosecution declarations depended on digital evidence. The case is interesting because it also highlights the type of objections that the defense counsel can raise. Ultimately, the judge dismissed the objections made by Mosai defense counsel relating to the digital evidence provided by prosecution. The other case studies are PTK, bind, torture, kill, killer, cyberbullying, Bobe Prince, Megan Meyer, Tyler Clementi. You can refer these case studies in mentioned reference book. In this summary, we learned about case studies under mobile forensics. I mentioned references here.
I hope you found this video is clear about the topic I lecture. Thank you and have a pleasant day.